Ellie, hi. This is so cool to kind of see you in person. I've been a fan of your music for ages, and I'm so glad you're back with this new song. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, coming from doing things, straight out of a, let's just say a, small studio because we're talking about, in the pandemic, and now then you did Rock in Rio recently. Man, it must be good to be back, right, for you?
Yeah, it's really good to be back. It feels like it's been forever. I released a couple of collaboration things in the past couple of years, but really nothing that I've been. But, I mean, obviously, I'm excited about everything I released, but this song
Right.
is close to my heart. I wrote it about 5 years ago, and it's been one that I've wanted to bring out for such a long time. Then obviously, pandemic happened, and I had Brightest Blue kind of ready to go, and it was such a specific album in terms of what I was writing about and the kind of
Right.
time period that I wrote it in. And it didn't fit on that album. So I was waiting for like the right time, and I had so many people tell me that it was a summer anthem. So I thought, what, why not release it
I'd
to
agree with that. I'd
yeah.
agree with that 100%. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the song, I mean, it must have been fun working with Big Sean. Tell me about what that experience was like for Easy Lover, honestly.
It was great. He's such a talented and sweet guy, and I'd wanted to work with him since he sampled me on his album. I think it was like 10 years ago now. So we were trying to figure out like the perfect thing to do together, and yeah, I he heard this song and really really loved it and thought it was really different and really fresh, and so it was an honor for him to jump on it, and I got to spend some time with him in the studio recently, and he's making a brilliant new album which I'm very excited for people to hear. So, and I think I did a few bits. I think he's going to use a few bits of my voice on that, so I'm very excited to hear
Amazing.
that.
Do you have a favorite memory while shooting the video with him personally?
We didn't shoot the video together actually. Unfortunately, we couldn't shoot
Ah,
it in the same few days. He'd been super busy, and he's actually about to become a dad, so he's got all this stuff going on. But no, I shot the video with my team out in Bulgaria, which was really interesting and new. Never been anywhere quite like it actually. And I've toured a lot of Europe, but it was really different. We shot in this sort of university, but it was a really, I'd never been anywhere like it. It was really strange, but really cool. And I got to play some different characters. You say that I'm like
yeah.
a teacher in the video, very inspired by David Bowie. And then I play like a sort of androgynous rock star as well. I like the fact that you don't know, what era the video's from. You don't know what era
Correct.
the characters are from, and you don't know what sex they are. I think it's just really, it's like a parallel kind of universe, which I love.
Love it. And of course, from the song perspective, I have to ask the name of the song, "Easy Lover." I, you said you love David Bowie, but why am I? Obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear those two words together is Phil Collins. Is he an influence in your life by any chance, musically, by any
Um,
chance?
I mean, who doesn't love Phil Collins? Back in the day, he's
Absolutely.
got some like absolutely genius songs, and he's a great songwriter. But no connection. Just lucky enough to share the same title as one of his songs. But yeah, a lot of people are going like, "She's an easy lover," but I suppose it's got a similar theme, but it's more like he's the easy
Oh,
lover, not
I
her.
I actually think that I mean the songs are two completely different songs. So I don't know if somebody listening to this or watching this wants to make a mashup. I don't know. Maybe
You
that
know, you,
sounds fun. Right?
you should put that out there because I
Mm.
I would be very intrigued to hear that.
Me too. Me too. Now, I do want to ask you with this particular song, I personally, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I see a very introspective style with the song Easy Lover. Can we expect more of this in your upcoming songs? Is this the kind of trajectory your music's going to be taking personally?
Yeah, I mean, this album I is purposely very different to Brightest Blue. I was just set, whether it was like during my pregnancy or during like the post pregnancy, I felt instinctively like I wanted to do something very upbeat and very dance oriented and very happy and optimistic. And with everything that's going on in the world, I was not in the mood to do a ballads album. I feel like
I,
no one needs that right now. And I spend a lot of time on TikTok at the moment, and and I listen to a lot of dance music right now, and I go out on walks and I just listen to kind of yeah, like music to make you want to move, and when you're walking down the street and you can pretend you're in a music video. That's what I like to do at the moment.
love
um
it.
and right now it's incredibly hot here, so we're
I've
kind of
heard, yes.
experiencing quite unprecedented weather here. So people are just coping with that in various ways.
I want to ask you, which is your favorite city that you've loved visiting on tour, by the way? I mean, just thinking of you, sitting at home bedding through this heat wave, uh, what's your favorite place that you want to be?
um I'm lucky enough to have been so many beautiful places in the world. I always remember New Zealand really well, because I remember I jumped off the Auckland Tower there, which was pretty scary. But also, it was just like, I guess, stepping right into Lord of the Rings. So I always remember that. It always felt like, because it's so green. It's not too dissimilar from like somewhere like Wales or Scotland, where I grew up. So it was so strange to be on the other side of the world and be back in this kind of greenery. And they seem to get it right there. Jacinda, she seems
Yeah.
very cool, and she's got a lot of things right. And so it seems like a pretty legit place to live.
Do you, I don't know, is the plan to make your kids as adventurous as as you are, like like you said, jumping off the thing in New
I
Zealand and stuff?
I
Is that the
know,
plan?
yeah, I know already that my son is going to take after a bit of me, a bit of his dad, because he's already he's just learned to walk, and the speed in which he walks is just crazy. So I already know that he's going to be
Oh.
like a troublemaker slash adventure seeker, thrill seeker. Yeah, I can feel it. I know it.
And what would be your little bit of advice to all the young mothers out there who kind of, like you just spoke about your pregnancy as well, who went, would you like to say anything to young mothers out there who are juggling, like you, juggling a full-time career in music, which is ridiculously overbearing? What would you like to tell mothers out there?
I would say the best advice would be to be incredibly kind to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. No one gets it right the first time. No one's perfect. It's such a crazy thing to come into, and attempt to understand, and for everything to be completely perfect. So you just gotta learn as you go along. We all make mistakes. I've made so many. There's been times where I've forgotten to change his nappy, or times where I've given him sugar or whatever. I said that I'd never give him sugar, and I gave him an ice cream the other day. So it just happens. And also, like, you've just got to be so easy on yourself when it comes to things like sleep deprivation, and you know I guess I'm trying to think of other things. Like, I mean, it's been a while now since he was like really, really teeny tiny. But
Sure.
I
I'm
think
sure
that
the list is long. It's really long.
yeah, the list is so long. But I think that the main thing is that none of us are perfect, and I certainly was not. And there's so many things that I do different next time. But if there is a next time, but yeah,
Sure.
just go really easy on yourself. I think that's the main thing.
Love it. I want to ask you about this little thing that I saw about you online, and I know you're a massive Harry Styles fan. As so,
Who
uh,
isn't a massive Harry
I
Styles?
agree. I mean, what do you think he would be like with you in the studio if ever you guys end up making music in the near or distant future?
You know what? I've hung out with him before, and I know that he is genuinely such a nice guy. He's really he's really genuinely talented. He's a great writer. He's got this very unique sound, and he's also very into art, and very cultured. And we had some great chats, and I just know that he'd be great in the studio. I know that he'd be
You think he'd be crazy, fun, or do you think that when you guys sit down, he'll be like laser focused?
No, in the studio, I like a kind of mixture. Like, for example, when I wrote my album, I had a few people in the studio. Like, had this guy Andrew Wells, who's a great producer. Had Anthony Rosmundo, who's worked a lot with Lady Gaga. I had Tom Mann, who's a really close friend of mine, and he's written all kinds of like UK dance songs, pop songs, and all different personalities. But for some reason, it just really clicked. We've written so many songs together because they all have different personalities. Anthony is hilarious. He used to be, in many rock bands until he started writing pop songs, and he has this loud personality, which I find myself on the floor crying with laughter most of the time. And then,
Right.
there'll be someone that's a bit more serious, that can kind of balance it out a bit. But mostly having fun in the studio is really key, because if everyone's just sat there being really serious, personally, I don't think like you can get the best out of that. But like, I think the main
Sure.
thing is to be really honest
So,
with
so when you're in studio, you're a good mix of both. Have I got that right?
So I think so. Yeah, I'd like to think so.
My last question to you is, hopefully, we'd love to see you in India super soon. What do you think would be on the top list of things that you would want to do when you get to India, Ellie?
Oh wow. Well, I mean, you tell me, because I'm sure you know the sort of insider tourist.
Well, it depends on what kind of person you are. Are you the person who likes to go out and just do food? Do you like travel? Do you like to party? Do you like to,
I like
I don't know.
food and history and architecture, and I love learning. I love learning things about cities. I love the history. And then my favorite thing about living in London is how damn old it is. It's so damn old. And some of the buildings are just, to know that they've been there since the, 14th century. That's pretty cool. So any kind of history, architecture, I would love to do. So yeah, please give me some tips.
I think there are a lot of places that kind of fall under that, and I think, you know what, we'd start with probably some. We wouldn't do street food for you because that might be a little crazy on the stomach, but we'll do some nice food, and then I'm thinking like a couple of historical places. The Taj Mahal is one definitely that I think is underrated in pictures.
Right.
Would definitely, you
Yeah.
got to see it with your own eyes to believe it.
Well, look,
Um,
if you give me a list, maybe you can take me to some of these places.
sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
For your fans in India really love you, and we're so thrilled to now play Easy Lover on high rotate. Like we're burning it up, and I apologize for that because we're playing it, too much, and I love it. So from that perspective, what would you like to say to all your Indian fans who are really waiting for you to come here and just, show them a fantastic time with everything that you did in Rock and Rio?
My gosh, well, I want to say to my Indian fans that I feel like, at some point I will be there in person to see you, and I can't wait to come and say hi to you and give you hugs and give you love, because I've never been able to meet you, and it's just been one of my biggest, points of sadness that I haven't been able to do that. So thank you for being so patient. Thank you for being so supportive and loving towards me and supporting me for so long. And, hopefully next year will be the year.
94.3 Radio 1.